bastards with heroes rise. The dying words to modern skies. Rushing there where power we fight. Strength that breaks you, light in the night. Where the broad meets the brush. The starry stone in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Release in my soul, soul and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roll. Gaming realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Golden spells casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawl meets the brush. The story's told in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, the fighters unfold. These are my soul, our soul. Where the brawl meets the brush. The story's told in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, the fate to fight for. These are my soul, our soul. Hello there, welcome to Minis and Muscles, the only place where you need to be and you need to tune in for miniature painting, hobbies and geek talk and all of that. The only place where the brawn, where the brush meets the brawn, or the brawn meets the brush. Either way, this is where we are. And welcome. So I've been banging on for ages about doing a tutorial video, right? And I think the last live that I did, we actually got into painting one of the models and doing some eyes, and I was talking about eye technique and all that. So I just wanted to do a tutorial video. So hopefully this comes out okay. Oh, my music has just stopped in the background. I don't know why. How very dare it. But hopefully we can go through this tutorial and I can teach you all how to paint eyes on your miniatures. Because of the camera setup I got, and I'm not a pro, I am using a slightly bigger miniature than the sort of typical 28mm sort of miniature, just so you can see what I'm doing. So hopefully that will go all right. I did steal off the shelf just a quick painted golem that I had, sort of a giant that I had. I've repainted the face, so do excuse the paint differences. It's purely to show you how to do eyes. It's for no other reason than that, okay? So we'll get into that. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Fingers crossed this tutorial is good for you. Let's crack on into it, shall we? So, let's swap over our cameras. Here we are. This is the mini we're talking about. This is a quick, dirty paint job that was done for a very quick game of D&D. Now, what we want here, and you can see the difference in tone colour here between the head and the arms. But I've just painted this very, very fast just to give us a fresh canvas to start from. So you don't need too many things. All you need is your skin shade, you need your eye colour shade, and you need, I'll grab it now, black. So these are the three that I use. On this model, I've used Kislev Flesh, I've used Wrathbone, and I've used Abaddon Black. So you do want to make sure that they are nice and shook up, so shaken up. So make sure you give them a good old shake. I've used my little mixing thingamabobby to my left-hand side. That sounds very dubious. So just make sure they're mixed up before you use them. Ensure that you've got yourself a clean wet palette and some clean fresh water, and just dab some of these three colours into your palette, okay, just so they're all ready. So this is what we want to do. For some reason my music keeps crashing, but never mind, we'll get through. So we've got the black, we've got the white, or it's not white actually, it's a more of like an off-white colour. That's for the centre of the eye. And then we've got the flesh tone as well. So let's just dollop a bit of that in there. Right, so we've got our three colours out onto our wet palette. As I said last week, on my live, I tend to only use two brushes really. These two brushes here. I'm not a fan anymore of Citadel paintbrushes, so don't slate me. But these do work, okay? A layer brush and an Artificer layer brush. They're the two I use, and majority of the time I just use a layer brush for pretty much everything. So we are going to do this eye. Now we've got the face tone painted on here, as you can see. Now the first thing we want to do is get a little bit of the white colour around for the eyeball itself. So I use Rathbone because it's an off shade. I'm actually going to use my geek glasses here, just so I can look super cool. Here we go. So hopefully you can still see my big old fat head isn't in the way. Just check. Yeah, it's not in the way. Okay. So the reason why here the wet palette's really important is because we want to make sure that the paint flows on really nicely. You'll see all the cracks actually where I've speed dried the face colour. Now don't worry if you go over the edges. Like if you see here, I'm actually going over the edges. Her eyes are not that big and it doesn't extend onto her nose, right? Don't worry about that. We will sort it. We will fix it. My music has dropped again. God knows what's going on here. So we've got the eye on. Now it's time to do the black. Now this is the most difficult part, to be honest. You need to make sure that your black is really well mixed. Get rid of my geek glasses for a moment. On your wet palette, it needs to be really thin so it flows really easy off of your brush. So that is the biggest tip that I would give you to get this right. So make sure your brush is at a nice point. Okay, load up a teeny bit of black, but it has to be a really nice runny consistency. So not your glob of black, it's straight out the pot. It needs to be really nice and fine. Now, let's just adjust me geek glasses. Now going into the model itself, all we're going to do is choose 2 points here and just draw a line down there like that. Okay, and then go to the other eye roughly where we think it should be and draw another line going down, right? Don't worry that I've gone over. Okay, that's not a problem. That's not to worry. All you're doing is just a line. I find that it's easier to do it this way than trying to do like a pinprick or something like that. I have seen some ingenious person use a pin that, I think it was a pin that had like a little tiny rounded end, and it just blobbed straight onto the eye, and it was really good, but I don't have that. So we're doing it this way. So once your model dries, and because it's nice and thin, the paint should dry really quickly. Now all we're going to do is go, now all we're going to do is go onto the model, and we're going to start to tidy up the eye itself. So go into the eye, and all you're going to do is just start to close in where the eye should be. So you're starting to draw the shape of the eye. Again, make sure that your paints are nice and thin so they spread really easy. Okay, so if you need to add a little bit of water to them, do so. But not too much, because remember, if you have done big lines like we have here, you're going to have to go over the black, which, you know, may take 1 or 2 layers. So let's give this a go. Right, so go into the model itself, and all you're doing is just, see, I've got too much on my brush there. Do you see how quickly that splodged on? You don't want that. So nice and slowly, and again, don't worry about the eyebrow. We can do the eyebrow later. You're just going to close the gap on the eye. Okay, it's a bit too runny there, but we can come back. So we've got one done, and let's just go into the other now. And again, just closing the gap on the eye, rounding it off in that sort of oval shape. Nice and slowly. There we go. Can we see on the screen? Yeah, you can see on the screen there, look. Doesn't look too bad. This one is not as good. So you see the line there is a little bit too thin. Okay, we could go back and redraw that, but we're not going to. There we go. Unfortunately, this side, where we blobbed on that flesh tone, it was too thin, the paint itself. So actually, we've got a little bit of a problem where the black is showing through, but that's not a drama. So all we need to do is just go over to our paint pot itself and just apply a little bit of that paint into our palette. Again, hopefully these should dry fairly quickly. So again, let's just go in and we're just trying to touch it up just slightly. There we go. That's not too bad. So on that side, yes, one pupil is bigger than the other one. That's noticeable. Okay, so what we might want to do is go back in. We could try to be really good and just get a tiny dab of black in there. If we can, but my shaking hands not usually that good. There we go, just about made it. Okay, so there we have it. One very easy way to find yourself drawing eyes. So let's just go over the process again. I'll take off my geek glasses, seeing as we've got that part sussed. Let's just switch cameras for a moment. So get your paints ready. First thing you need to do, your 3 paints. You've got your black for your pupil. You've got, and yes, I know other people have different colour eyes. Nobody has black pupils. But when you're looking at a 32mm mini or a 28mm mini, you can't really distinguish a lot between the colour of the eyes. So actually black is completely fine. So use a black on the mini itself for the pupils. And then you'll need your skin tone. And then you'll need your sort of eyeball colour as well. So they're the colours I've got. Get those ready. Thin them down in your wet palette. Okay, thin them down in your wet palette so you've got nice consistency. Not too runny because you don't want it super thin, especially on the skin tone, because the skin tone is important for covering up the mistakes. Right? You then, let's switch cameras again. Go to your mini. You look at the area, you do your skin tone, or you could just do the eye first, but for some reason I always do the skin tone first because it helps me kind of see where I'm putting the eye itself. So I do the skin tone, I then put in a bit of white for the eye, I then get my black, very thin piece of black, and I just draw a line. It can be sort of from the eyebrow level straight down, roughly where you feel that this model is going to be looking. So again, ignore the crappy paint on this model, but just concentrate on those eyes and look where they're placed. You just might need to move it left or right just to get it right. And then with that very fine black, and this is where you can have a slightly thinner black than normal, so it runs nicely but not too watery. Draw your line from eyebrow down to cheek. Okay, straight down, eyebrow to cheek. Don't worry about going over. Then get your skin tone. Your skin tone can't be too clear and too thin. You then go around the cheek and the eye socket and the eyebrow, covering in any black line, and then just fill in so you have a small white part for the eye. Okay? There we go. There we have it. So, let's just move over this way. I do not know why my music keeps bloody well cutting out. It's infuriating. But we will get there. So, now you've got your model, you're able to paint eyes. Eyes are really difficult. Sometimes you won't get it, especially on a 28mm, 32mm model. Let's just compare these two for size, actually, in the camera. When you've got these two here, look, they're very different in size. Very different in size. So you're going to have to be a lot more careful with this little guy to get those eyes in. There's less room for maneuver. So get yourself some of these geek glasses. These are recommended massively. These geek glasses are super cool. They're a couple of quid off of Amazon. They're not very expensive. They just have a lens on here. It can work with your existing glasses, just like mine. They sit over the top and just give you a magnified view. Or you can use a magnifying glass with like LED lights on. That's absolutely fine. Whatever floats your boat. So yeah, so be careful. All you need, or you don't need any more in terms of thinness on a brush of an Artificer layer brush. That's a Citadel paintbrush or equivalent. I think it's a size 0. I want to say size 0. Not entirely sure. Just check it out. But you don't really need to go any thinner than that because it's really, I then find it personally very hard to start doing detail because the bristles are really odd. But that's how you do eyes. Hopefully that's been helpful. It's only what, a 16-minute video? It's not very long. Fingers crossed it's helped. If it has, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to Minis and Muscles, the only place where the brawn meets the brush. And we talk about geek stuff, develop our lovely geek culture, and we can have a good old blast and a chat. Join me on Fridays. On Fridays, I stream live at 7 PM UK time. And I'm going to try and do some more in terms of posting videos like this. I'm going to start doing more on my Instagram too. So please, please, please do like, follow, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you know when these videos come out. And I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much. Take it easy. Goodbye.
Minis and Muscles, we're heroes rise. The dying world's still mighty skies. Rushing there, where power we fight. Strength that makes you night in the night. Where the brawn meets the brush. The story stone in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis and Muscles, heart and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roar. Gaining realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Golden spells, casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing on.